Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Motivation with Mommy's Tea Time. I am your host, Romika Latash, and I am beyond excited to be here with you today as we close out this Women's Month on this beautiful Monday morning. I couldn't think of a more powerful way to do it than by bringing together a group of phenomenal women, my sister friends who have turned their pain into purpose and their struggle into strength. These seven powerhouse women are co authors of the incredible book, We Do Not Look Like What We've Been Through, a heartfelt anthology birthed under the When Women Empower community led by the amazing Dr. Tiffany R. Harris. And speaking of Dr. Harris, she is no stranger to this podcast. In fact, she was our first guest and still holds the record of our highest stream episode thanks to our listeners in 18 countries and 96 cities and states. Today, we are going to be talking about their stories of resilience, transformation, and empowerment. Because no matter what we've been through, we are still standing and thriving and inspiring others along the way. So grab your tea, settle in, and get ready to be motivated because this episode is one for the books. Let's talk motivation. Dr. Tiffany R. Harris, Crystal Vinay, Deborah Smart, Keisha Henfield, Latoya Washington, Pastor Carolyn Watson, Tamika Tillery, Romika Temple. Welcome to the show, sister friend.
Hey, sister friend.
Hey.
Good morning. Good
I,
morning.
I am so excited. I really am to talk about this book, We Don't Look Like What We've Been Through. So we're going to just go ahead and start and introduce everyone to our listeners. We're going to give our chapter and a little snip of what our chapter is about. And we're going to have a good conversation this morning. So we're going to start with Dr. Tiffany R. Harris.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Romika, for having us here. And good morning again to all of my beautiful sister friends. And my chapter is chapter 1, and the title of it is Trinity. And just a little bit about my chapter and why I named it Trinity. This chapter is a dedication to my late father, George Geronimo Gay, God rest his soul. And my daughter, London, he wanted me to name her Trinity. And I did not, unfortunately. I was stuck on London. So so I wanted to honor him in this way. And just a snippet of my chapter, it's about grief. And grief is something that we don't always talk about. I know for me, grief is something that I hardly ever talk about. So to talk about grief in this chapter, I really wanted people to know the importance of processing those feelings of grief and letting people know it's okay to grieve, which I did not do when I actually witnessed my father take his last breath while I had my then 2-month-old daughter. I held her in my arms. And so for me, this chapter was important to allow me to heal because my daughter was 2 months old and I threw myself into being a mother. So I never stepped back and allowed myself to really go through the emotions and the feelings. And simultaneously, I was a doctoral student at Capella University. So that's just a little snippet about my chapter.
Okay, chapter 2, I believe, is
Me.
out.
Yes. So I am chapter 2, and chapter 2, I titled it Tears in a Bottle, which is actually the title of my first book, Tears in a Bottle, that shares my story. And so basically my chapter talks about my trauma of abuse of sexual abuse, physical abuse, an abusive marriage, and how God, like I love the Tears in the Bottle title actually is a scripture in Psalms 56, and it just reminds me of how God cares about our suffering and how, no matter how many tears we shed, God is there. He promised to never leave us nor forsake us. He cares about every tear. And he's a restorer. So my chapter basically, yeah, it starts at age 15 and just shares the trauma. But it's a pain to purpose story because I understand that there was purpose behind my pain, and God he doesn't allow any of our pain to be in vain. So that's basically what my story is about, how my trauma ended up turning into an international ministry where I can help other women who are suffering from the same trauma. So yeah.
Yes, so I am chapter 3, um, Beyond the Smile. And in my chapter, I talked about overcoming abandonment and how we walk around sometimes smiling, but we never know our story behind the smile. So I give a little a background of my biological mother who was addicted to drugs and was unable to take care of me and my two other siblings at the time. And I just talk about throughout the years where I didn't realize that that was something that was subconsciously bothering me, of having abandonment issues. So as I got into my 20s, I started searching, trying to find myself. So I talk about how I found my other siblings. I am the second oldest of 8 children, and how I just went through the healing process and how finding them made me feel apart. Even though I had so much love growing up, um, I felt like I really was a part of something. So I talk about that, my healing, and now that my smile is genuine because I'm healed from overcoming abandonment issues. So, chapter 4, I believe chapter 4 is Tisha Henfield.
She said she
Um,
just put in the chat that she's backstage.
okay.
Oh.
Well, let's bring her on. Tisha,
Hi.
chapter 4.
Um, Chapter 4, I talk about my family. I really take it from the beginning to the end. Well, to where I'm currently am, because the end has not come yet. Thank God. So it's hope, love, possibilities, and transforming trauma into triumph. And so I basically stepped through my life from being a young age and the things that I went through there, bouts with depression, issues with my family members, and to how I became the woman that I am today. And a resilient person, a woman of God, who loves God, and God has saved me. And so I speak a message of hope. And that's what chapter 4 is all about.
Yeah. In chapter 5.
Hi, I'm Shima W.
Hi.
I'm in chapter 5. My chapter is titled Unbecoming because I experienced a lot of trauma during my childhood. And as I healed through my trauma, I was able to walk the path that God has for me as a woman. And before I was able to do that, I had to be unbecome all of the labels that was placed on me by my peers, family members. And my chapter is just reminding everyone about resilience, and you're able to do and make all of your dreams come true once you start to put God first.
Yes. Chapter 6.
Hi, I'm Latoya Washington. My chapter is about saying goodbye to the old me. After experiencing homelessness in my early 20s and then experiencing a near death experience where the doctor said I was not going to be here, I realized I was very dependent upon myself and making decisions that were not the best out of survival mode. And so I talk about learning how to trust the Lord in those hard situations, knowing that He's with us, knowing that He cares, and that, saying goodbye to those old ways of thinking and moving, opening up again, after experiencing heartache or experiencing, relationships or friendships that may sever, and to be able to open up and embrace this new community, such as When Women Empower, and hear other women that have experienced similar testimonies, and to know that it's okay to say goodbye to the old you and embrace the new you. So
Yes.
thank you, Romika.
Yes. Thank you. Well, we're on chapter 6,
7 is
7.
me.
Okay.
7.
Good morning, ladies. I am Crystal Beanie, and my chapter is legacy. How did I get here? So I had I'm gonna say my motherhood, myself, and my strength was tested with people saying that I wouldn't be nobody. I wouldn't be amount to be anybody. So with all of those struggles and challenges, I became to be the person that I am today, leaving a legacy for my children and grandchildren. And I wanted to start by leading by example. So that's what mine.
Yes. Love it. And chapter 8.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Tillery. I'm chapter 8, and the name of my chapter is A Pour from the Bottle, Glass Half Full. And basically, it's about carrying burdens and the weight of so many womanly struggles and taking a step back to provide yourself with self care. You can't pour from an empty cup,
Yeah.
but a pour from the bottle is invested in the cup. So basically, it's just telling people how to do things like uh, get rid of your insecurities, improve your securities, self care, health, wellness, stand on business, and set
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yes, I love it. See, We Don't Look Like What We've Been Through is such a powerful book. And I can't wait to the world just hear these incredible stories because I know each and every one of them will touch someone. If any one of you, anybody who can just tell the listeners what inspired y'all to share this story, share your story.
Well, I'll start. I know for me, this particular story, while I knew it was cathartic for me, I knew that there were other people out there just like me who are still experiencing grief, who have experienced grief years ago and had not dealt with it. And sometimes we hear people say, oh, what happened years ago? You should be over it. But that's not the case. Grief is
Mm,
a process, there are stages of grief. And if we never acknowledge it and accept it from the beginning, we're not moving through those steps of overcoming or at least coping with grief. So for me, it was important to share that story to let people know they are not alone. And then to show people, what it looks like when you don't address that grief. And so for me,
mm,
I was angry. There was this misplaced anger. I was taking out my frustration, my hurt, my pain on people who had nothing to do with what I was dealing with. And because, again, my daughter was 2 months old at the time and I was in school, I just kept going on with my day-to-day life and really hurting on the inside. And so there was a time where I told people to take off the mask. I needed to practice what I was preaching and take off my own mask and really
mm,
address what was going on with me. And I knew that other people needed to hear that as well. So that is what inspired me to tap in and write a chapter related to grief.
yeah, that's powerful. We keep speaking of when women empower. I'll ask Disha Henfield because she always says she doesn't play about WWE. How is being part of When Women Empower impact you?
Being part of When Women Empower gives us a safe space. That's the biggest thing to me. It gives us a safe space. There's many places where you may be in groups of women, and there may be cattiness, backstabbing, things that they consider negative in women groups, right? Well, if you join When Women Empower or in when Women Empower, you don't have any of those things. You have empowerment in Women Empower. You have inspiration in When Women Empower. You have a community in When Women Empower. You have women that are going to pray with you and not pray on you in When Women Empower. You have women of strength, women of integrity, women that want to see you win, women who want to see you scale, soar, and succeed. That's what When Women Empower is going to do for you. Being part of When Women Empower has empowered me to be my best self, has empowered me to write books, has empowered me to collaborate. I love When Women Empower. I can't say enough about it. I'm gonna stop because I can just keep going on and on. But I thank Dr. Tiffany for her
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
because her yes was strength, her yes was power, her yes was an opportunity to elevate yourself and become something greater than you ever thought. They say your thoughts, if you tell God you thought about something and then you see what he does with it, don't tell God your plans. Wait for his plans, because his plans
Yes.
far exceed anything any of us could ever think about. Okay, I'm done. I'm good.
See, I
Okay,
told
so
you. That's why
Don't put
I
no
asked.
fire.
I'm gonna say what Disha said. What Disha said.
What Disha said. Yeah,
Right.
What
what
Disha
Right.
Disha
said.
said.
That's why.
That's
That's
right.
Yeah.
why I told her. I said we're gonna let Disha answer this question
What
because
Disha said.
Lord, she don't play about
Ugh,
WWE. Okay.
yes.
And
I
it
love.
is. It's an awesome community to be a part of.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wait because we're gonna let Dr. Tiffany Harris really tell you about this awesome community. But I just had to just put that in there because this book was birthed from this community.
Hmm.
And everyone is so passionate. Everything that Disha said is how everyone feels in the community. So she puts it in words for us. Like we feel all that she just spills out. So
Yes.
that was awesome.
It
I'm
was.
cracking up.
This is a powerful sisterhood, though.
Yeah.
I'm never leaving.
It
This
is.
is where we need to be at, like for real.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. So any one of you ladies can answer this question. When was the defining moment when you realized that you don't look like what you've been through?
Uh,
Mm.
I can answer that. I currently, what was it, maybe 3 years ago, I had went back to school to become a mental health counselor. And as I was going through my training, I realized I was starting to help individuals like myself. And at that moment is when I started to realize that I no longer look like what I've been through, and I no longer was on that other side. God had brought me through to be able to help other people that hasn't had a chance to overcome mental illness, substance abuse. And it was in that moment I was sitting with my very first client that made me realize I don't look like what I've been through.
Yeah, because we all beautiful up here.
Mm.
Look, we've been
Yes.
through some things and it's just a blessing not to look like what we've been through because I've seen people who've been through some things and really look like that.
Yes.
So I just
Yes.
thank God for the grace um, that we still have our right minds. For me, I'm still able to love even though sometimes I didn't feel love. I'm able to be a mom, even though I really didn't feel what that real motherhood is. I can be a mother to my kids. I embrace having a family. Um, I embrace that my past does not define me. So it's a beautiful thing to just have grace on our lives. God was truly with us every step of the way to bring us to this moment right here.
I want to answer that question too as well.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
mine was
Uh,
6 years ago when I wrote my book, Sis You Got This. Um, the feedback that I got from the book when different women and men, some men read my book and decided to go back to school and get their diploma and or degree. And they told me my story was impactful. And if I did it, they know they can do it. So
Yeah. Yes, Crystal has a powerful story. You have to get her book. I mean, it's resilient.
that's only a little bit, that's only a little bit. But being amongst you ladies has really made me open up so much more. Like so much more.
Yes, I mean it helped me because I was struggling to tell my story, and this opportunity with this anthology just gave me that little push to speak. And as I realized, writing and talking about it, um, that was my defining moment that I don't look like what I've been through because I'm able to talk about it without crying or without just without crying because I'm a crier. So I can tell my story now without crying. So that was a defining moment for me, um, that I can just actually speak about it. And then just being on platforms like this to just talk about it. You just don't know who's out there listening that your story just may touch someone. And that is the goal. That's why I'm so excited about this this anthology because I think it's more than what we can even imagine what it is. This is just the beginning. So I had to have you ladies on here, especially this month because a woman's month to close out because times we talk about women who are already like successful and famous and stuff this time of the month, but people like us that can just touch the people, the local people right there are so strong and so resilient and so impactful, and we can reach we're reaching out to them, and we need to be acknowledged for what we do. So I'm excited to have you guys on here. We have a couple of more questions we want to get out, and this is the talk about the resilient part and the healing part of our story. What was the toughest challenge you had to overcome, and how did you push through?
I can
Latoya,
answer that. I think.
I do.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I was gonna
Latoya.
say. Um, for me, it was definitely telling people no and saying yes to myself. It took because I would always put others before, make sure they're okay. And I'm the oldest child out of my family. So making sure everybody's all right. If I have food, I'll make sure everybody else who's hungry get first and then I have a little bit for me. But I'm good, right? But I realized that kept going on and on and on where I was missing out on what God has for me because I'm looking at all these other things to help. And so I had to start saying no sometimes to others and yes to myself. And that was hard because I didn't realize how many times I was telling myself no. I didn't realize how many times I was holding myself back from being who God called me to be. And that it's okay to say yes to yourself. It's okay to do the work. It's okay to rest. It's okay to go back to school and start fresh again and just learn and love again and meet new people and
Yeah,
embrace the life that God wants us to live in this earth, right? And so I think that was the most important part for me.
yeah. I knew that question was perfect for Latoya. I'm glad you answered that. How are you using your story today to empower women? I know since I've been a part of the community, I've seen so many of us, the growth in speaking out and telling our stories. So if any one of you can answer that.
I'll answer that question.
Mhm.
Um, it's funny that you asked that question because for a long time I wouldn't tell my story. For a long time I wouldn't tell my story, and I just wore a mask. Like, and then when God just kind of revealed to me one morning while I was in the mirror, that daughter, no, you still are, you're wounded and you need healing. And that's when I began to write my first book, Tears in a Bottle, as a result of that, just sharing my story. And each time I shared my story, I became stronger. I felt like stronger and stronger and more bolder and bolder. But not only that, but I would see women just their lives being transformed by me sharing my story. And so I
Yeah.
learned the power of sharing your story, because when a lot of times we don't want to, well, the way I was raised, you don't want to talk about this, don't talk about that, hold this in, hold that in. Why are you putting that,
Yep.
your business out in the street? But
Uh-huh.
meanwhile, you're being eaten alive, because
Yeah.
what ended up happening to me, I ended up spiraling into a depression. So it was through that depression, when I was coming out, is when God showed me that I really needed to take the mask off and I needed to start healing. And once I started doing that, then I started sharing my story in book form and speaking, and just, workshops and groups and conferences with women and one-on-one, and women's lives begin to change. And so many women have told me and still tell me that, I appreciate you sharing your story, because for a long time I had a problem sharing my story.
Yeah.
So it's powerful. It's a powerful thing. Yeah.
It definitely is because we think that we're the only ones that's going through what we're going through. And you said something powerful, Dr. Carol. Well, I know myself raised in my family is like anything that happens in this house stays in this house. And you hit a good point is that when that's embedded in you, you're holding all that stuff in, and it is tearing you up inside. You don't realize when you hold on to that stuff, like you said depression. It makes you sick. It makes you angry. I know for me, I was angry for a long time in the why me, and why not me, so once I started speaking out and writing, oh my gosh, it was such a weight that was lifted off of me. So that was dead on. Somebody can tell us what role has sisterhood played in your healing and success?
So Tamika didn't speak yet. So I'm gonna just say,
Baby,
it unfortunately the things that we go through, we think it's normal, but it's a toxic norm. And when you hear other people speak and tell you their stories and where they are now, it inspires you to move forward in the process of healing. First of all, healing is a lifelong journey, because one thing can set you back. So
yeah,
when you continue to hear people uplift you and inspire you, it changes how you think and how you share and how you help others.
it does. So that brings me to Dr. Tiffany Harris because right now I think we're talking about in our community accountability partners, and that's part of the sisterhood in the community. So you've heard us say "When Women Empower" this whole episode. Tiffany is going to tell us about When Women Empower, how we came about with the anthology "We Don't Look Like What We've Been Through," how you can purchase the book, and how you can connect with Tiffany Harris and becoming a part of this wonderful community.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Romika. And before I get into that, I want to go back to something that you said, Romika. And you were saying this was a great way to close out Women's History Month with having us on, and how sometimes people are looking at women who are successful and they are famous and they're the ones who are being acknowledged and recognized. But
Yeah,
if you don't know who you are, we are successful. We are
yeah,
famous in our own right, right? We have people in our communities, people in our families, people in our churches who look up to us. right? So we are setting the pace. We are the trailblazers for them. So we don't have to be underneath shining lights. Our names don't have to be plastered on the TV screens. We are successful. And what it comes down to is, what is our definition of success? We have to be able to celebrate the achievements that we've made, which is astonishing to so many other people. And the evidence is the feedback that you get from those people. Pastor Carolyn said it when she shared her story. People will say to her, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I needed that." Or you all of you ladies have people who come to you and they tell you how much you've inspired them. They tell you how much you've uplifted them. They tell you how much their life has been transformed. That is success. That is a win. So I want you ladies to celebrate them and know that you are successful. You are famous. And so if you don't know what you get with When Women Empower, for those of you who are listening, that was just a snippet. Because when you are attached to me, there is no reason why you will not win. My purpose, my mission, my whole heart, my love language is seeing women win. And so when you hear us say When Women Empower or WWE, just know that is us. And if you've ever been in a community where there's backbiting, chaos, like Pastor Carolyn says, this ain't that. I love when she
This
says
ain't that.
this
That's so true.
ain't
This ain't
that.
that.
This ain't that.
This
And
ain't
I'm
that.
so happy and proud of us. It's
Definitely.
not just me,
Definitely.
it's us. And so how far we have come, not how far I have come, how far we have come. And actually this month is significant because we are celebrating our 2-year anniversary of When Women Empower. Yes, yes, and yes. And so all of these ladies here have been here since day one. Oh, look at all my day ones in this anthology. They've been here since day one. And so I'm truly grateful to God for giving me the vision and not allowing me to sleep. And so for those of you who are watching, I want you to pay attention to those nights when you're tossing and turning, those nights when you just up staring at the ceiling like, okay, why can't I go back to sleep? God is speaking to you. God spoke to me in the midnight hours about When Women Empower. And so prior to When Women Empower, I had a women's community called Tea with Tea that started in the living room of my home back in 2016, 2017. And so the rebirth is When Women Empower. And so we are an international women's community. We are the number one God-led and faith-based international women's membership community, where our mission statement is women empowering women, like you've heard, to soar, scale, and succeed. And so here, like Romika said, you have not just an accountability partner, you have partners. I cannot tell you how many partnerships and accountability relationships have been formed within this community. Like, we're not going to let you lose. We're not going to let you give up. We're not going to let you throw in the towel. We're going to love on you. We're going to accept you as your authentic self. You come as you are. And so the women in this community are from plethora of backgrounds. You have real estate agents, speakers, authors, podcasters, pastors. You have accountants. We have publishers in this community. My God, we have truck drivers in this community. And so that's why we say everything. You have speaker coaches. I just had a class that graduated from my master class, Shift Your Mindset and Speak, and I was able to coach them on their communication skills. Everything that you need is in this community. So we have tier memberships. You can join us for free on Facebook at When Women Empower. And then from there, you can get connected and you can go farther. The choice is yours. It just depends on what you want and where you're trying to go in life. But you can start off by joining us for free at When Women Empower on Facebook. And then we will get people on our team to connect with you to tell you how you can upgrade and become a paid member, and you will have access to so much more. We meet on Zoom every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have speakers who come in and pour into us on various topics. That's going to be instrumental for your professional and personal growth. So y'all just have to get connected and stick around. This anthology was birthed because Tamika and another sister friend, in which sister friend is my term of endearment, they came to me and they said, we should write an anthology. And as a leader, make sure you're listening to those individuals who are with you, right? Because I could have said, oh, that's not what I want to do, because that's not what I want to do. But it's not about me, it's about us. So that's what the community wanted to do. So of course I went and checked in with God, and of course He was like, "Yes, yes." I'm like, "Okay, God, we good. Let's go. Let's make it happen." And so here we are. So I'm so proud of all of us, and I celebrate you, ladies. I love you immensely. For those of you who are coming out tonight for our 2-year
We love you.
anniversary, I look forward to seeing you and loving on you and hugging on you. And thank you again, Romika, for allowing us to be here. And if you want to get a
Yeah.
copy of our anthology, you can go to tiffanyharris.net to order your autograph copy. Thank you again, Romika.
Can I say
Awesome.
something, Romika?
Yes.
Because Tiff, Dr. Tiffany, what I love, there's so many ways I love you, so many reasons for loving you. But what I love is how you really set the tone, and you are not afraid. I'm a pastor, so I'm all things kingdom. You have no problem with professing your faith. Okay, you have no problem with speaking Jesus. And there are some platforms, there's some communities that I know I've been on, and people are like, well, you're good, but just don't talk about Jesus, don't talk about religion, like, no. So there's so many things I love about when women empower, but I love that Dr. Tiffany set the tone. She has no problem with us being a faith based community, among other things, and us speaking things, all things kingdom. So I love that, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes,
Amen.
I do too. Um, she she's such a supportive of everyone. She tries
Mhm.
to be there for everyone. I know for me, when I first started the podcast, she was my first guest. She was right there with me. When I did the Mommy's Tea Time event, she was right there for the first one. And she does that for everyone. I don't know how and how long she's going to be able to keep doing that,
Right.
because
Right.
there's so many of us. But um, a lot of times when you're part of communities like that, you can't reach the leaders like that. They're untouchable, in this community you really do feel a sisterhood. It's real, it's genuine, it's a lot of collaborations. Collaborations are good. I think because it pushes you more into your purpose. um like we said earlier, accountability partners is a whole bunch of them in there. And when you get on those calls every week, you're inspired. Even though if you had a week where you may have felt defeated, once you get on that call and you hear someone talking and speaking, I mean, you're empowered again and you're ready to go back to the next day and continue winning. So, I mean, really, the community is really what Tiffany said it is. She wants everyone to win. And everything in this community, we have everything that we need in this community, and we do and more. So I thank you, Tiffany, for your yes. I thank you for being you. And um, we're going to close out with our affirmations. That's what we do on here. And I ask each one of you guys to give an affirmation to someone out there that may be still overcoming their struggles. And also, I want you to leave us with how we can connect with each and every one of you.
Okay, I'll start then. So my affirmation is I am loved. Um, I am loved and you are loved because God loves you. He loves you so much that he gave his only begotten son. He loves you so much that he knows every hair on your head. He loves you so much that he knew you, he knitted you in your mother's womb. So you are loved. And that's what you should take away from all of this. You are loved. And you can, my name is Desha Henfield. And you can connect with me on Facebook at Desha Henfield, DeshaHenfield. And also on Instagram, I am also Nora's sister, which is NOIRESISTA. And lastly, you can go to my website if you like. It's www.deshahenfield.com. And thank you, Romika, for your time. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you, my Disha. Disha was a guest on here too, my first year.
Look at God. Well, I'll follow Deisha. Um, I will definitely say that you matter, that your thoughts, your creativity, your smile, your ideas, all these things matter. to God, matter to us, and that you are valued. And so I could be reached on Instagram under Rhema Creations, that's RHEMACREATIONZ, or Facebook under Latoya Washington writer page. Or you can visit my podcast website, brokenvesselspodcast.com. Thank you,
Mm-mm.
Romika.
Thank you.
Hey
Beautiful,
man, I'll go
Latoya.
next. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are loved by God, chosen by God. You are royal, and there is nothing too hard for God. And some things might seem impossible for you, but God loves you so much that He's going to come through for you. And I can be reached on social media, Facebook, Carolyn Ritter Watson, um, Instagram, Carolyn Ritter Watson, TikTok, I think Purpose Pusher, Carol Ritter Watson on TikTok, but then also on, what did I miss? Instagram, Carolyn Ritter Watson. So yes, but you are loved by a most high God. He loves you and cherishes you. So never forget that.
Amen.
I guess I'll
Amen.
go next. And I must say, mine would be, sis, you got this. But if men are listening as well, you got this, right? And I want you guys to put on a full armor of God and believe that you can overcome the naysayers. And I love you. I could be reached at Crystal Beanie on Facebook and Crystal at her best on Instagram. Thank you.
Amen.
And I'll go next. My affirmation is you are more than capable and whole and complete just as you are. Um, you can reach me on Facebook at Tashima Wilkins. My website is www.shimaw.net, and my Instagram is shimaw. Thank you, Romika.
Yes, thank you.
Then I'll jump in.
Tamika?
Oh,
Okay.
Tamika, yes.
And
Tiffany?
go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So go ahead,
I
Tamika.
would say, okay. I would say stand firm in your faith, walk by faith and not by sight. Be still. God is with you. Thank you for this opportunity. I can be reached at Tamika Tillery on both Facebook and Instagram. Um, and I just want to say thank you, ladies, always for being inspiring and empowering, always giving me that extra push in my head, wanting to meet up with y'all on Thursdays. And yeah, I'm here for anybody who needs me as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you, Tamika.
Man,
Yep. And so I would
Romika.
say to everyone to shift your mindset so that you can experience a shift in the trajectory of your life. You can reach me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Dr. Tiffany R. Harris, Instagram, Mindset Shift with Tiff. And you can send me an email at tiffany@tiffanyharris.net. And my website is tiffanyharris.net. Thank you again, Romika. This was wonderful.
Thank you. I love each and every one of you, sister friends. This has been such
Love
a
you.
powerful
This
conversation.
was amazing.
Yes, and I
Absolutely.
know someone has been touched, and I pray that for all the listeners out there. Thank you all for being here and for your transparency. To our listeners, if today's episode spoke to you, be sure to grab a copy of We Don't Look Like What We've Been Through. Support these amazing women and remember your story matters. Continue to follow us on all social media platforms. We are on all podcast platforms. So continue to tune in and listen, subscribe to us, go and put a little comment in on this episode. If it touched you in any way, tag someone and share our link for someone to listen that you may think that they may want to hear something from one of our sister friends who spoke today. Until next time, stay motivated, keep transforming, empowering, and affirming your dreams because you are the T.